This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It's a new year.
And a new season.
24/7 Buff Fandemonium isn't just a page.
It's a family.
A passionate group of positive Buffalo football fans
who embrace the character and fight of this team.
We strive to embody this passion
and present a fan-first perspective
without all the fluff.
Enter the K-Gun Report.
Season 2.
The first season was exciting for 24/7 Buff Fandemonium.
Talking football, connecting with fans, and having quality conversation.
This season, we're stepping it up, and we want you all to come be a part of the conversation.
On March 9th, 2021,
the K-Gun Report
is back.
Let's go, Buffalo!
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bills fans, welcome to 24/7 Buff Fandemonium presents the K-Gun Report, Season 2, Episode 43. I'm Jarrod. Joining me tonight, we have Scott.
Hey!
Swank.
I was going to have a little run there, but I stopped it instead.
Well, why don't you just walk all over
Yeah,
my...
don't ruin Swank. There you go. And the Fandemonium, of course. Let's take a look really quick. Brent Thomason. We have Laura Wakely. Welcome, Laura. I know you're a Patriots fan. It's probably a tough loss for you, but you've had a lot of years to celebrate. Rick is here. William Gallagher. Billy Gallagher, your Andre Reed jersey is on its way. Patrick Hughes. David Reed. We'll get to that in a second. David, you got a great point. Ellen Lartz. Marcy's here. Lisa. Buffalo Spartan.
This is Sparta!
Paul Kirkduffer. Paul Rossi. Josh Cook. Debbie Emerton. The family is here. Ryan Hickman is here. Guys, welcome. Let's have fun tonight. But first, before we get into it, we were all just notified of some bad news. Condolences to the great John Madden and his family. John Madden passed away today. Sad news, guys. He's been in football for years and years and years. You know,
Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame announcer, an icon in the NFL, well-known everywhere, charitable. The guy is amazing, and he lived a long, good NFL life for sure. And, yeah, it sucks.
What a character, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like from calling games and the video games and like those kitschy little things like not getting on an airplane and riding bus all over the country. You know, I don't know. He's just a lovable guy. I remember when he first started getting into like calling games and stuff, and you're kind of like, what is this guy talking? Like, he overstates the obvious, right? And blah, blah, blah. But it just like, it became so endearing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like your crazy uncle was out there telling you what the game was about. And I loved it, man. He was great.
Patrick Hughes said it best. Rest in peace, Coach John Madden. Boom. And that's the thing I'll remember him most for is the game, obviously his commentary, but him bringing a little flavor to the commentary too, like the boom and the bang and scoots and the scats. You know what I mean? So,
And the tough
what a great legend.
acting.
Yeah, tough acting today. That's right.
My favorite John Madden voiceover for the game was boom, big sack.
Right. The game. There you go.
Oh man.
So let's take like 3 seconds for silence for John Madden. All right, rest in peace, Coach.
Yep.
Great guy. All right, guys. Let's get into it. We might as well get right into it. The Buffalo Bills went to Foxborough this past Sunday at 1 o'clock, and they put a nice little whooping on the New England Patriots, 33-21. I think that score is actually closer than what it really was. Swank, I'm going to let you lead the way with this. Good, bad, ugly. Fandemonium, don't be afraid to throw your good, bad, and ugly out there too.
Ugly. My good for everybody that's tuning in currently for 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, the K-Gun presents the K-Gun, good, bad, and ugly, is my boy Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown, who everyone said was a flop last week against Carolina when he had to play out of position as a rookie, the hardest position you can possibly play on the offensive line. And, drew those couple penalties, all that stuff. Boy, he played 25% of the snaps, according to my math, at left tackle this week before Ike Bacher, unfortunately, got his season ender. And then Dion had to come in, and he played 75%. He looked good. But in that time, there were no penalties. There was no sacks. Our offense was moving, and he looked good. And he was going up against the third-ranked defense. After, let's see, last week was a second-ranked defense. This week's the third-ranked defense, and he's a rookie playing out of position. I was trying to draw this comparison with Scott earlier before the show. It would be like if the high and mighty Mac Jones, all right, like the best rookie ever to play football ever, if he played wide receiver, right? Like, that's kind of the way I feel about it, where, like, you're mirroring all of your motions. You're doing completely the opposite of what you're used to doing. And, like, all the fundamentals are still the same, but you're playing out. And if Mac Jones split out wide for a whole game and had 2 penalties, like, everybody be like, man, he's so great. Look how versatile he is. You know what I mean? So I was real stoked about my boy Spencer Brown. I think he played a hell of a game, and he's getting nothing but better. On the defensive side of the ball, my boy Horrible Harry is just consistently making plays, man. I hate to say it like this, but Starla Tulalehu, like dude's showing up, and he's being exactly who we wanted him to be, opening that lane, making huge plays so that Ed Oliver could get back there and get that sack, stuffing the run. I know the run still isn't exactly where we want it to be, and I think one of my buddies down there is probably going to talk about that in a little bit, but it was better, and I don't think that our discussion is going to be about how bummed we are that Star can't start. I don't think anybody cares anymore.
At the beginning of the season, it was kind of we would like him there.
Yeah.
And now after seeing week 17 coming up and what Harry, and not only Harry, but Oliver have been doing, it's like, okay, Star, you can sit. We got some guys in there now.
Yeah. So that was my good. You want me to run through the gamut here?
Get it.
Yeah, good, bad, ugly, my friend.
All right. The bad, my friends, was Mr.
Hold on. Debbie Emerton says the bad freaking O-line was badass. Love it. I had to throw that out there. Go ahead.
Good timing, though. Good timing.
Yep.
To me, the bad is a little bit of a two-parter. The bad is that we haven't let Bates shine on this line until now. And Scott and I were talking again before the show. He a couple weeks ago, maybe in the beginning of the season, we talked about how he was underutilized just because he was the backup center. He came in and we didn't skip a beat. You know, like these things are in motion, and it kind of is like, what were we doing all year? You know, I think that could have been recognized probably, and people will say I think the same thing about Lil Dirty and Isaiah McKenzie being underutilized until right now. This is the offense that I know the three of us have been talking about seeing all season, and they finally unleashed the beast and let it all out.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is the bad, and which isn't really a bad. It's great moving forward, but you know, it's just like the woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? The ugly.
So like that's like the work interview telling you, tell us something that you can improve on, and you find something good in it. Like,
I care
we
too
can
much.
improve on using our better players.
I'm too much of a stickler for the rules. I'm too
I
on
care too
time.
much.
I stay too late some nights. Yeah.
Carry on, my friend.
No, it's all right. So the ugly to me, and I'm sorry, New England, it's your idol. It's your false idol, Mr. Macaroni Jones. That dude showed his true colors for all of the NFL to see. And I think if you listen really hard at 4:30 on Sunday, you could hear Michael Irvin's tears. You could hear all of ESPN's cast tears. You could just feel all these blog writers go, "Oh no."
But at the same time, Swank, if you can listen at 11:30 on Sunday sessions, you would also heard a Mr. Scott 24/7 BF say, what was your bold prediction, Scott?
My bold prediction is that he was going to be held at about 50% passing, and that we would see the true Mac Jones. And bada boom, 44%.
There you go.
We had a lot of gems last week, guys.
We
Listen
did.
in.
Listen in. Sunday sessions, 11:30 every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, what's Swank? Go ahead if you got more, man.
That's it, man. That's it for me.
There you go.
Scooter.
There you go. My bad, and I'm only going to go my bad for the run game is the D-line. They gave up 5.5 yards of rush again. My firm belief watching this game with 27 rushes is that if the Patriots had a lead right off the bat, I believe that Belichick would have kept running the ball, kind of like what he did last time, because I don't think he has any faith in Mac Jones. But that was the bad. I mean, there was a couple holes. Our linebackers were over pursuing again, both Milano and Edmonds alike, and that's something that I hope they can fix. They watch enough film, you think they'd see it, but they still haven't fixed that problem. So hopefully by playoff time, that's something that they can adjust. Ugly, I'm going to go bad and ugly. Mac Jones, Swank said it, 44%, 14 for 32, 145 yards passing, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Sorry, Patriots fans. I think we're about to see what your quarterback is all about. The top 3 defense in the league, a stellar running game isn't going to survive him much longer. And unfortunately, you might be, if you were smart, you would draft a quarterback next year because you have a line and he still can't do it.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh,
Can't believe you said that.
Good. There's so much good. But first I want to hit on a little poll that I did on Twitter this past week. With a small sample size that we had, I asked the Fandemonium, the Mafia, who they would prefer as our top 3 wide receivers after what we've seen the last couple weeks. And I'm not kidding you, 78% chose Diggs, Gabriel Davis, and McKenzie as their starting 3. And I can't say I don't disagree with them at all. That being said, my good, Josh Allen, 30 for 47, 314 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions. Oh, yeah, and he ran the ball 12 times for 64 yards, 5.3 yard average, and those weren't just run-of-the-mill runs, guys. Those are huge third down runs. Those are huge gut fourth down runs.
You see that juke he did on that cornerback?
Yeah, that cornerback took out Judon. They took out each other.
Yeah.
And my favorite quotes from Josh Allen from before the game.
There's 2 quotes of the game. Go with the Josh Allen one first.
My favorite one in the beginning, Jarrod, I don't know if you heard this. I have violence in my heart is how Josh Allen was feeling about the Patriots in the locker room before the game. I have violence in my heart. I love that because I told you guys earlier this week with how he was on the field, with how what we heard Diggs say, hey, Merry Christmas. And then what we heard him say at the end of the game and seeing that sidelines, there's a point that becomes very dangerous in the NFL or in life. If you're someone that walks the walk, if you're someone that talks the talk, and at some point those come together and those are coming together simultaneously, not only does that build a confidence in yourself, but everybody that's around you is going to get confident and better. And the walk and the walk and the talk is all happening at the same time. And that's every reason why us Bills fans should be so freaking excited right now with these next two games coming up in the playoff time.
So if Allen said that before the game, do you think that carried over to what Stephon Diggs had to say to the crowd after he scored his touchdown? Do you think that fire was not only in Allen, but spread throughout?
I think it was all over.
I think that's all Diggs. I think Diggs is a passionate guy, and I think they hype each other, but I don't think that had any context in what he said or did after the game or after the touchdown, whatever, man. I think he's just his own entity, and they're all one. I mean, look at the way, like, Stephon Diggs runs over to McKenzie after that touchdown catch and just starts doing his celebration dance with him, hyping him up. Like, that's a dude that's a cancer to a locker room if I've ever seen one. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It was just a great day. With down 2 starting wide receivers, it was a great day. And McKenzie came out exactly when he needed to. It was beautiful. But that game, I think, it just showed the maturity. And I know, like, the cursing and all that stuff, whatever. I think there's not one Bills fan that wouldn't have wanted to say exactly what Stephon Diggs said at the end of that touchdown.
Right.
You know,
right. I saw a Twitter account say, "Hey, Stephon Diggs, Mafia, thanks you for saying that."
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here you got a spoiled New England fan base that had Tom Brady for 20 years, you know, that greedily tried to double dip thinking that Mac Jones was going to be the second coming. And now what? You know, they all deleted their Twitter accounts. Like, you know, there's nothing. There's nothing. And if they squeak into the playoffs, and that is if they can even win this weekend, which I hope they don't. I hope the Jags just smoke them. But
Jags and then Miami, right?
yeah, if they're playing Miami for the playoff berth, I don't think they got a shot.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll take Miami.
Sure.
Can I say this real quick, guys?
You're gonna.
I saw FedEx. I saw FedEx Player of the Week. Joe Burrow was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. He played a Ravens.
525. Yeah, he had good
numbers, right? Josh Allen was obviously another one, and Dak Prescott. I'm so tired because this is also a Pro Bowl issue that I'm having. I'm so tired of these statisticians, these guys that throw out these possible Pro Bowlers, these possible AFC Players of the Week and all that stuff, without taking into context the real issues that are the real challenges that these players are coming up with. Joe Burrow had 500 yards passing, yes, and a bunch of touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, but he played against the 24th ranked defense in Baltimore, who's missing all their corners and has no pass rush. Dak Prescott played a Washington Redskins team who's not even in the playoff hunt anymore, and his numbers were good, Josh Allen-esque type numbers. Josh Allen threw 65%, over 300 yards passing, added 64 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, didn't get sacked once, against the 3rd-ranked defense. At Foxborough, against Belichick, missing his number 2 and number 3 wide receiver.
Can I add this really quick too?
So who's the real offensive player of the week?
We're gonna jump right to my ugly. Josh Allen did not have that special teams punter come out once the whole game.
Yeah. Hawk had 0 yards punting.
The Bills drove all game long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when your quarterback can keep the punter off the field, doesn't that give you some credit for
30 viewers? We got 30 viewers currently. So
nice.
Cheers
Nice.
to
Should we
guys.
chug a beer?
Thanks so much.
Guys, if you're paying attention, 30 viewers, our partner at Buffalo Autographs, Ryan Hickman, www.buffaloautographs.com. You can go there for low-cost jerseys that are legit COA authenticated signed. You can also hit him up for a couple razzes he does. He does it legit because he pays insurance on the stuff, so everything's good to go. We may have an Andre Reed mini helmet coming for next week's show if you're all paying attention. And all you have to do to win that,
show up and comment.
show up, comment, and you'll be put on a Pandemonium Wheel of Destiny for your chance to win. You come hang out with us, you have a chance to win something. It's not in my hands yet. I will put out a post later when it does, and you're all invited to come and try to win that.
Hell yeah. That'd be a good one. We haven't
don't
had
have-
a good old giveaway in a while. I mean, not like 3 weeks, right? We had
It's gonna be fun.
that huge giveaway for Ryan. But yeah.
But you don't have to wait until next week to get anything from us.
Wow.
24/7. Personal message us at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. We have a lot of stickers left. We'll throw them to you. Just give us your address. Easy peasy. Cover girl. Hey, you can put it on your Xbox. Oh yeah, Scott, nice shirt. Swank, what are you wearing? Notorious. Oh,
Hey guys, our black and our red, white, and blue 24/7 Buff Pandemonium shirts. We still have plenty of those. Those are $20 a piece. That Diggs one you see that Swank is wearing, Notorious Diggs shirt, $25 a piece, $5 extra because we're donating $5 a purchase to the American Heart Association, and we have a few of these black ones left too. Any questions? Just PM 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. We'll let you know all about it. Okay, but
Scott,
the stickers.
You.
Diggs is about to say something.
You. Buy my shirt.
But and as far as the stickers go, you just PM us your address, like Jarrod said. We'll send them to you for free. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Buffalo Spartan. Yeah, he just got over surgery. Get them feet up, man. Get the swelling down. Get them up.
Yeah, buddy.
Ryan says it's in the box, so very good.
That's what Lisa said. Lisa said elevate those feet.
Did Lisa say? Who said, Jarrod, that they ran into a couple people?
I think it was Lisa said she ran into somebody earlier this week. And I think it was a good somebodies too. It was a couple.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool.
Sharpest tool in the shed.
Jarrod,
I
are
was
you done
looking
with your
kind-
good, bad, and ugly, or was that?
No,
just
let me
your-
throw it
We
out there.
haven't
Really
started.
quick.
We just
I did do
interrupted
my
them.
ugly. I did do my ugly. Our punter got 0 yards punting. Where the heck was he? Right, but he did hold the ball perfectly for big boot baby foot bass,
Feet.
and he put it through twice. Bam!
Big
there you
boot,
go.
baby face bass. There you go.
I have another ugly, but I'll finish with that. The good Mr. Isaiah McKenzie steps in for Beasley and once again shows up. He did this last year against the Miami Dolphins. Now he just showed up against New England Patriots. What I love about this guy, before I don't want to forget about it, he's one of the first guys when they have the questions up and the video cameras, he's up there joking around and messing with people. He's a comedian, right? He loved Micah Hyde, I think, is one of his biggest fans, but he's always going back and forth with the players. If you saw his interview after this game, Isaiah couldn't have been more proud of what he did to help this team, but you kind of knew it was there. You know what I mean? And he showed up, 11 catches, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, but those weren't all easy catches either. He was diving, sliding, making some good balls, man, and it was fantastic to watch.
Dimes. Those were dimes by your boy Josh Allen too, by the way. But he caught some hellacious balls in some very highly contested situations, and he made it happen. I was so happy.
That was my biggest concern too, because Beasley is great with possession receiving, like catching the ball, and Isaiah McKenzie proved that he can do it too. So that poll that you did earlier, Scott, McKenzie and Beasley or whatever, Diggs, Davis, and McKenzie being the top, that would be something else to see. I want to mention quick, David Reed mentioned that Cole Beasley might have a little fire under his ass coming in when he returns, which would be great. But it's one of those things where the next man up, if the next man shows up, don't be naive if that man doesn't take your spot. So hopefully the Bills find out a situation where they're going to play the best players, and whoever it is, obviously we're going to root for on Sunday. But if it's McKenzie, Beasley, don't be upset about that. That was a choice.
I'd love to be a fly in the wall if Dable and Allen ever got together for that question to come up to Allen is, who would you rather have as your slot receiver? McKenzie was targeted 12 times. That's more than I think Beasley had most of the season. 11 catches for 12 targets. That's a hell of a catching percentage. So I would love to be me personally, from what I've seen Isaiah McKenzie do, I think he's got the notch. I think he's got the notch over Beasley, and it wouldn't hurt to have Beasley backing him up. I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30, where I think McKenzie's only 26, 27 years old. So,
I always thought he was like so much older than that. And I agree. I think I want somebody out there that this is going to sound bad. And I don't mean it to sound bad because I like Cole Beasley. And I don't
So
think
do
we
I.
can, I don't think we
Me
can
too.
figure out or like forget about how
26.
much of 26
People or age.
Oh. I don't think we can forget about what Cole's done in the league and for this team. You know what I mean? But right now, I want to see McKenzie out there. I think that benching says a lot about him. Like, he took that like a champ. He took it on the chin. When they asked him about it, they asked him about it hard in that interview. After having the game of his career, they were giving him some hard questions about being benched. And that's got to be rough, man. But he let it roll off. He had those like prepared answers. He was a professional. He said it was on him. He took it like a champ. He hoped that he was going to get his opportunity, and he knew when he got his opportunity he was going to have to show out, and he was just glad that he got the opportunities to do that. The dude's on fire, you know? The jet sweeps were back. Now, in typical Dable fashion, he tried to do 30 of them, but, you know, the first 2 worked fine, you know? Like,
Yeah, the messenger filled up quick, guys, when they ran that one that got snubbed out. And I think all 3 of us at the same time sent the same message. Okay, enough. It's working enough. You got to know when to stop.
Yeah, dude. Me, the guy that's been like, where's the jet sweep for this whole season, but last season's like, do the jet sweep. Why are you doing jet sweep? Now, where's the jet sweep? And then after like 2 of them, I was like, okay. Like, it's just like when he was doing those screen passes, right? Whatever game that was, where it just kept screen. And you're like, what are you doing? Is Josh Allen, is his shoulder like broken? Like, why
No,
aren't you throwing it
it's
down the
not.
field?
You saw the touchdown passes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not broken at all.
Yeah,
He was winging it.
he sure was.
Also, Pro Bowl snub, my good Micah Hyde, 6 tackles, 2 interceptions. The thing that I keep going back to with this Pro Bowl snub is with him and Poyer. I don't ever remember seeing a deep ball landing this year. And we're at week 16, or we're at 9-6. We played 15 games. They haven't got beat once, right? They're the first, and they've done it twice. I think
Good
2018
point.
and 2021. Both safeties have 5 or more interceptions apiece. I think that's only happened 3 times in history, and Hyde and Poyer have it twice.
And Kelso and Jones have the other one.
Kelso and Jones from the Buffalo Bills have the other one.
So 3 times in history, and the Bills are the only ones that own the record.
So snub it.
Pro Bowl.
Take this
Yeah, okay,
job and
whatever.
snub it.
Listen, I think this is all fuel. You know,
Yeah,
they were
perfect. Yeah,
talking
give it
about
to us.
Josh Allen after this game. Like, isn't it going to be crazy if he's the MVP and he didn't get in the Pro Bowl? You know, or isn't it going to be crazy if he's hoisting the Lombardi and he didn't get in the Pro Bowl? Like, you know,
There's a trophy he'd rather lift, though, and that's it, right?
yeah, absolutely.
I think all Bills will take that, because if you're looking at, Scott, I know the Hall of Fame is big on, how many times did they get selected in the Pro Bowl might play a factor in if they get nominated. But Super Bowl rings play a bigger factor. So snub them every year for getting those Super Bowl rings. I'll take that.
Let's
They
get some.
needed that chip. That's what they've been looking for this whole season, right? Everybody hyped them up, and then they hit a lull, and then this is exactly what they needed at the right time.
Perfect
Ever since
timing.
that Tampa Bay game, second half of that Tampa Bay game, it's just been click, 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 click,
Mhm.
like, and keep it
There's
going,
another
man.
good. There's another good I want to throw out there. The Bills defense, obviously, the game plan was perfect. Let Mac Jones beat you. And they really did that. They let him beat him, because obviously they ran on him a little bit, but Mac Jones is ultimately the one that couldn't put it together to win. You mentioned the Tampa Bay game a couple weeks ago. I said that second half of the Tampa Bay game is going to be that turning point of the season. I just want to mention one guy, because Allen's been on fire. The whole team's been on fire. But Devin
You're about to
Singletary
mention Singletary.
Motor.
Yeah, you are.
has been doing something a little bit different than he has all season, right? In the last 10 quarters, he's had, I think, 35 carries for 177 yards, 4.7 average. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, 9 catches, and 64 yards receiving. And Dayball's giving him the ball. Dayball giving him the ball. That is what we've been missing.
But how is he giving him the ball? That is the point that I want to make.
Stretches.
It's not right up the gut, right? And even when they swapped out for Moss and then they ran Moss up the gut, that worked okay too. You know, like it's crazy to me that it's like the stuff that's right there in front of you, like all of a sudden you start doing it week 17. Holy Jesus. Or 16, you know, I don't know. I'm glad if it's clicking now. This is what I've been hoping for all season. If he's holding stuff back, if he needed a jolt, this is what it needs to be. Start playing your game now.
I just got a text message from Brian DeBall. He said, I told you guys to wait. It was coming. We had to get things clear and keep pushing other stuff. But by the end of the season, we would be rolling on all cylinders. That's what he just said. He said to wait and it was coming. So,
okay.
I'm joking.
You're joking.
Swank. Don't you love it when Jared's about to throw out some stats and he goes, I think the numbers are
and look,
and he's like,
21 carries, 7.3 yards a carry with 1.7 yards after contact. I
hold
think
on.
those are the numbers.
Oh, I'm just getting a call from Brandon Bean. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, no, we know. He's reading a teleprompter. We got it.
Yeah. It's all right there. Okay, my bad was Judon. Judon had 3 tackles. I think he had more cheap shots than he had tackles. My ugly. We already went through ugly with Hawk, whatever way you want to say it. But I have one more ugly I'm just going to throw it here, and then we're going to go to the next game. My ugly is all those people out there that are realists. I haven't seen you since Sunday at 4. Where are all the realists? I'm just being realistic here. Anyway, carry on. You guys know who I'm talking about. The Fandemonium knows who I'm talking about. The individuals who like to bark and say the Bills suck and they're not going to win and they're being realistic. Okay, quiet. Cricket. All right.
That was some very G-rated shit talk right there.
Yeah. Where are all of you?
Where are you?
As politely as I could say it.
Well, Jared and I talked about we didn't want to step on any toes, but yeah, crickets. We're not hearing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
Well, and that's what it is, right? Like we were saying, all the Patriots fans are non-existent on Twitter all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you're not hearing about Mac Jones, you know? Oh, man. I think, I text you guys. Sarah was calling Bill Belichick Billy, like the whole game. Like, come on, Billy. Dude, it made me laugh so bad. And then I was like, Belichick Belly, so it's Billy Belly, you know? And I was like, now I want to make a shirt that's just like a character I draw of Billy Belly with a little beer gut and a cut-off hoodie on, you know?
And you can do the mom from Goonies, so you can put her on there. All right, I just got to throw this out there really quick. Brent Thomason has everyone has nice quotes going on tonight. They're having a nice conversation over here, but Brent Thomason, Allen is the only player to throw for 100 and rush for 20 in the first 4 years of his career. Only player to throw for 100 touchdowns and rush for 20.
Yep.
That's awesome. He also said that Ertz is saying, damn, I messed up. Mr. Zach Ertz there.
Oh, dear. Crack him.
All right. Our Buffalo Bills are 9-6 right now. And Scott, are they 4th or 3rd?
4th.
Seeding. And what? It's 4th. They own the AFC East. Yep.
Okay. It must have been somebody ran a playoff thing because it looked like they were 3rd. 4th, because they're the AFC East leaders right now. Next game is they're going to be playing Sunday at 1:00, and they're hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Right now, they're at 14.5 point spread. Atlanta's given plus 14 for Atlanta. So that means the Bills have to win by more than 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
And the over-under is 44.5. Just throwing that out there. Scott, what's your thought about the game?
What's your
thoughts about the game?
4.5?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all the Bills?
Yeah, that's
right.
Gonna be all the Bills. That's a 30 to 14.5 score.
What if you have them scoring 49 by themselves?
I know, right? So what we do now when we talk about this game, guys, is we actually give our score prediction, bold prediction, and X factor all in one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me see here. I think we're all right. I think we're finally. I don't remember the last time the Buffalo Bills actually had the last 2 games being at home, which is glorious. You know, against a 7-8 Falcons team, and I think the last one's against the Jets, who are putting all the promising numbers on. But usually, if I'm stand corrected here, our last couple games we're usually trying to grind to win these games and are against difficult teams. This is something that is kind of looking pretty for us. But like we always say, you have to play the games. You have to play the games. The Falcons are coming in this game still in the playoff hunt. They're 7-8. They're just on the outside, but they still have a potential, the potential to win that last final wild card spot. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to come in laying down guys. This is going to be a legit hard fought game for a team that's trying to make the playoffs, and the Bills should play the same way because their playoff spot's still not guaranteed. I know this week, if they win, the Ravens lose, Chargers and Raiders lose, or the Raiders lose, or the Chargers and Raiders lose, we do clinch the playoff spot. But the Bills have to win, and that's what it comes down to. The Bills have to win. These Falcons, I'm a fan of Matt Ryan. I really am. He's always done things right through his whole career. He's had talent on his team, and I don't like what the Falcons have done in the last couple of years to him, getting rid of his top wide receivers. I know one of his wide receivers is injured for the season, but all he's got is a tight end in Kyle Pitts. He's leading that team in receptions. He's leading that team in yards. And that guy that I'm most worried about is Cardell Patterson. Wrongfully used for all these years. And the Falcons finally use him in a spot where they can utilize his talent. The guy is fast. He's a powerful runner. He can get to the outside, and he's shown that. He averages over 4 yards a carry, and he's second on the team in receptions.
And special teams. He has good kick returning skills too.
Right. So,
and he's a free agent next year. There you go, Swank. This offensive line is not a great line. They have a left tackle in Jake Matthews, who's he's a Pro Bowler. But the other guys you look at, Jalen Mayfield, Matt Matthews, Chris Lindstrom, and Caleb McCary aren't household names. So this offensive line is not all that great. The defense ranked 24th. So I don't think the Bills offense should have any issues against these guys. You look at their defensive line, their linebackers and corners and safeties. Again, not names you would not recognize. Deion Jones is a stellar linebacker. He's a guy that can fly around to the ball, but I don't think he will have enough to cover all of our guys, all the talent that we have at offense. So I see this game being a blowout. I see this game being a 35-10 game. I don't see us having any problems reaching that 30 mark, and I can see our defense sacking Matt Ryan a bunch of times, causing a bunch of turnovers, and I'll explain my bold prediction here in a couple seconds. And I just don't see the front line offensively or defensively being able to man up and overpower our side. I just don't see it. And the fact, like I said, that it's home, we can do it in front of the Mafia. I think the Bills are going to riding the wave that they have been. I think it's going to be a dominated game for sure. So my score is 35-10. My bold prediction, with the snub that happened in the Pro Bowl, Micah Hyde showed up and got himself 2 interceptions. Right, guys?
Boom. Poyer's upset. Poyer going to make up for it?
Poyer's going to do the same this week. My bold prediction is Poyer is getting 2 interceptions this week to put him at 7. That'll put Hyde at 5, Poyer at 7, the best safety tandem in the league that did not get to the Pro Bowl. And my X factor, believe it or not, I talked about Cardell Patterson with his speed, the ability to get to the edge, the screen plays. My X factor is edge protection. I'm going to call out Russo, Addison, Hughes, AJ Epinesa. Those guys have to contain, make sure that Patterson can't get to the edge, confuse him up, confuse that sweep a little bit, and kind of contain him. It's going to be a hard task because the guy, he's talented. And I think you control him. And like I said, Matt Ryan doesn't have much talent around him anymore. You control him. You control that offense.
Yeah, that's pretty good because he is a vet. Obviously, he's been around the league for a while. So you're going to have to take that into account and play your position the way it needs to be on that edge because he will expose you if you don't. Good points. Debbie Emerton, Bills, 34-20. Buffalo Spartan, 42-17, Bills.
You got Brent's.
Go ahead. What did Brent say?
Mitch for 220.
Mitch for 220.
Josh Cook is right there with me could we see another shutout this week?
Ooh. That's
Pauletta Brown is here.
For all of you at home.
Pauletta Brown is here. Congratulations, Paulette. Paulette's, I think, family members with Isaiah McKenzie. So he had a great game for you guys representing. That's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Buffalo Spartan, Little Dirty and Knox get 3 TDs. John's 35-6. Josh continues his pass shuffle this week. I read that wrong. Singletary with 2 rushing touchdowns.
Lisa, Bills by 50. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Kirkdover, 42-1, or is that 10? 10. Okay, that's 10. X Factor. Allen's arm. Bold prediction, D forces 6 turnovers.
Boom, that's a lot.
There you go. Alan Lartz, 35-7. Swank, what is your score prediction?
You just took away all of my bold predictions and X Factors.
One of those. Pick which
I'm
one you
just
think it
joking.
was.
I think that this is a refrigerator game, right? Like freezer, you want to keep stuff cold. The fridge, you're letting it thaw, letting it marinate, you know? You like you just keeping that good feeling going. So this is a game that everybody expects the Bills to go roll, so they need to go roll it. Like that's it. I would like to see them do more of the same. But sharpen up some of the stuff that was a little light, you know, that pass rush. Absolutely. I want to see them dial in on that. I would love to see some of these young guys again group, start to torch off on some of these QBs. On the offensive side, I want to see them successfully running the ball, successfully moving the ball the same way they did against the Patriots, and just having an overall good game. Stevenson also had a pretty solid game, I'm going to say. He's really, like, fitting into that role pretty well. Not anything over the top, but also just adequate, right? He reminds me of a lower grade Andre Roberts, somebody that you can just rely on. So score prediction-wise, I'm going 42-13, Buffalo Bills. My bold prediction is that Dawson Knox will have a 100-yard game and a touchdown. That's my bold prediction.
You're bound to get it right, Swank, one of these days.
My X factor is going to be Taron Johnson. I think the same lines as Scotty here, with that edge protection and the screens being a big thing for this game with Cordell Patterson. And I think Taron Johnson's the guy that's going to be hawking them right along with Matt Milano. So Taron Johnson, he's going to have a hellacious game and keep that sprite young man rate in check.
Taron Johnson got a lot of credit I think it was probably last week before the New England game, about his ability to read the run and put his helmet on the ball. He flies to the ball. He's one of those unsung heroes.
That's always been his uptick, right? Before he became Taron Johnson, who picked off Lamar Jackson, right? His whole thing was like he was way better at reading the run. He was way better at those like intermediate, short, like screen kind of passes. So that's like something that he's only made better, and then now his coverage is getting better and better. So that was a smart move, man. I'm really glad they extended him.
Kevin Kanye, 36-10 Bills. Josh Cook, 35-0. Caveman gets a pick.
Hell yeah. His second, huh?
Love that. Joey Hatch Jr. says, I see some little blitz packages we're working on checking out and us getting some sack quarterbacks this week. There you go. Tighten up that pass rush, that rushing D, Brent Thomason says. Hope it's Micah's to satisfy Lisa. Well, there you go. Okay. Probably shouldn't have read that one, but whatever.
Her prediction. That's
what he was getting at. It's good.
Gotcha.
All right. So Atlanta Falcons. Let me clear my throat. There we go. So if you're looking over their record, I think they're 7-8. They're another one of these teams that definitely beat teams that they should, like the Jets and a couple other teams that they beat. And then the teams that they were supposed to lose to, they got demolished by, So they're not really standing out with upsets or anything like that. So my score prediction's 49-0. I was with Josh with the shutout. I think this is going to get things on the road again. Part of the 49-0 is going to be my bold prediction is that the defense actually gets 2 turnovers at least, but 2 of them are going for touchdowns. It can be a fumble recovery, interception or whatever.
Yeah, we know what turnovers are.
Yeah, I understand what a turnover is. It's one of those things you pull out of the oven around the holidays.
Halfway through, right? Turn it over. I don't know. Have you guys ever had a turnover? Any good recipes? Bills football. Anyway.
Join Jarrod every Tuesday night for Jarrod Chef's Corner, where he talks about all of his baked goods and your favorite recipes.
And my X factor is going to be the continuing D-line dominance. Scott, you threw a little number out there to Swank and I earlier this, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, about pressures with the amount of people actually rushing the quarterback. Do you remember that off the top of your head?
I'm sorry?
He's reading something. Defensive line. They have the highest pressure percentage with the least amount of blitzes, right?
Yes. They're second in the league in pressure percentage. And they're 13th or 14th in the league with blitz percentage. So they're not blitzing. They're only blitzing about half, about in the middle of the road, but their pressure is top. So that's a bit of a skewed number. That's a number that definitely shows that their defensive line, just the front four alone, is creating the pressure that's helping this defense out.
All right, so that's my X factor is the defensive line's continuing domination of the people across from them. I have two worries about this game. Obviously, Cordell Patterson, he's a do everything kind of guy in the offense and special teams, but also is the linebackers. The linebackers are actually they're top players on the defense, and if we can continue with our offensive line and hopefully we found the right recipe, right, they can take care of the guys up front. Jarrod, he's a threat up front, but if we could take care of him and get out to the running linebackers, then there's no reason why Zach Moss or Breida or Singletary can't get a little bit of the run going a little bit more for this game. So the linebackers are the threat. They're the core of that defense. And then Cordell Patterson scares me on offense a little bit, but like you said, Scott, the defensive ends have to play their game and
you gotta have
control that.
In your heart, Jarrod.
Hell yeah. Man, what a great time. We always talk about, there's a certain time in the season when you have to get rolling, and the Bills are rolling right now, and it's fantastic to watch. And, Alan making that comment, guys, it's just looking up from here. I'm excited.
Well, Jarrod, to go back to they're playing the 3-4 defense, which is always a little more difficult for a defensive line, for an offensive line block. You have the 3 down linemen, obviously, and the 4 linebackers. A lot of credit to the outside linebackers. They're the ones that pressure the quarterback, but you never know which one is coming. And so there's always at least 4 coming, many times 5. So this will be a true test to see, like you said, if our line is come together and we found the right recipe. This will be, regardless of what kind of defense we're playing, as far as talent-wise, this will be a good understanding of how good our front 5 can cover a 3-4 defense, because we'll see a lot of that in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you just go back to what the Bills did this past weekend against the number 2 off defense in the league too. So there's always that factor, right? You got to come in kind of weary because this is the NFL, and any given Sunday, any team can beat any team, right? That's what we push every week. But the fact that they've been running down the field, up and down the field against the top-ranked defenses kind of gives you hope for you got to play it safe against Atlanta. You don't want to screw up, but we might have another game where we don't have to punt.
Swank and I said it before the show, Jarrod. There was at least 6 or 7 weeks in a row that our Buffalo Bills offense was playing a top 5 defense continually. Every week, a defense would get a little better, notch back up to the total ranking of under 5. We played a lot of those defenses last year. So it's fitting that we're starting to come together offensively and be able to put up these points.
Yeah, it's exciting.
All right, we doing
Exciting
picks?
times.
Let's go.
We can do that. We have 3. We have obviously the Bills. We all picked the Bills, so I got that marked down. I don't know if you have an image. Is it on a tracker right now? What the record is?
It's on the tracker. I am only 2 games behind you currently.
You're catching up. Scott's kind of at 50%.
Well, he's 36, 35, and 1. So
Okay.
How did you have a tie?
We all had a tie
We did.
because we had a game that I think it was a garbage game that we picked that ended up in a tie, so we gave us ties.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna wash that out.
We
There's no ties
could
in
not count it anymore. It takes up space in the
All right,
tracker.
I'll tell you what. Scott and I are just gonna take the win.
Give us the win on that one. Give us the win on that one.
I think okay, we can do that. All right, so you want to go first with the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Patriots. Scott, what do you got for that?
Mac Jones continues to struggle. I told you as of last week, I think we're about to see the downfall of Mac Jones. And I don't know. Jaguars got nothing to lose. I would love to see this upset, and I'm going to call it. Jaguars win.
Jaguars have nothing to lose, just like you have nothing to lose with your picks this year.
You caught on to that, right?
So Swank's going to England.
No, man, I'm going Jags. I'm too punk rock to pick the Patriots right now when they're in a downfall. So you can try and take the easy win. I think Scott and I got this one unless you pick the Jags.
I picked New England.
I knew it. He's a secret supporter. Don't let him fool you.
He had Jaguars circled,
don't
but
do
because
that.
we both win them.
Secret supporter of the Patriots, and then we have talks of Pittsburgh Steeler fan in the new life. I don't even know you guys. You guys
All
are
right,
gonna
I'll
throw
tell you
me
what.
under
You
the-
just you can pick the Jets on this one, and then
I
we'll be even.
picked the Bucks. I got the Bucks beating the Jets. Swank, what do you got?
Bucks.
Scott.
I got to catch up somehow. Upset. I'm doing it. Jets. Give it to them.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
Dude, the NFL's been so unpredictable this year. There's been so many teams, so many upsets. I mean, the Bills lost to the Jaguars. There's that week that 4 upsets happened. It's going to happen again this week. This is going to be a
Texans beat
shocking
the
one.
Chargers.
Yeah, we're about to see Brady throw another clip over the side here and start swearing at coaches again.
I don't know if he wants to swear at Salah, dude. I think Salah
We'll
will whoop his ass.
We'll see if Brady has anybody heard if he's gotten fined at all yet? Because I'll be surprised if
Yeah,
Diggs
okay.
get fined. If Diggs gets fined for saying what he did and Brady doesn't get touched for yelling, "Go F yourself" at a coach on the sideline, we already know.
We know what's gonna happen.
I think that kind of stuff has happened forever, like where players curse out fans. I was at my second Bills game ever. They played Washington, and they were doing warm-ups, and I was like 10 rows up, my dad in the end zone, and there was this guy over there going, "You suck. You fucking suck." Like just drunk before the game even started. And there's just
That happens?
Oh yeah, there's this Washington guy, and he's just throwing the ball back and forth, and the guy's screaming and screaming and screaming, and the player just turns and looks at him, and he's like, and like flicks him off, and I was like, "Oh!" And the guy was laughing and all that, and it was great, you know. It's like that's what that guy deserved, you know. And the Washington lost, and that was beautiful, but it was just, you know, that stuff's been going on forever. The thing is that little sound orb was right there to catch every single word that he said. And I just, with it being Buffalo in New England and saying it directly to a fan and getting caught, if he does not get fined, I will be so surprised. Like, so absolutely surprised.
Brings up a good point, Swank. You mentioned the little orb that just so happened to be there. And that's the first thing I thought was, how did they pick that sound up so clearly?
Yeah.
Right. Another thing that, you know, kind of relates to this is the fact when the Bills needed a replay to check third down or a short run or something like that, they never had a good camera angle when it was for New England. Do you notice that? I was like, I bet you if New England needed a call, they'd show it right where it was. But why all of a sudden do they have all these awesome camera angles throughout the whole rest of the season? But now all of a sudden they pick up a sound of a Bills guy swearing at the fans, and then they have horrible visual for a replay when they need a close call.
I can't believe that that gameplay wasn't delayed at least with that the last running touchdown where he fumbled it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he broke the plane, but you didn't even see like a replay. And the refs were placing the ball before they could even replay it. They were placing it for the extra point.
Yeah, the guy was walking back.
I went frame by frame, and that ball started moving before it crossed the line of scrimmage. Just saying.
That's what I want to believe, and I'm glad that you backed it up with scientific evidence.
Yeah, I went frame by frame, and you could see the nose of the ball do one of these right before it actually crossed the front of the line. So if they went frame by frame, they would have saw that, but it would have been one of those cases of there probably wasn't enough evidence.
But then again, if they would have had a straight on angle, right, the end zone angle, you probably would have saw that too, because I don't think they had that at all. They didn't have any angles when
They
it's
didn't
going to
show
be
anything.
No.
They didn't, and it was like clear. Like the one angle that they did show after the touchdown, you could see it start to move,
It's
And
obvious
it's like,
fumble.
okay,
Yeah.
so there's the pylon, there's this, there's that, there's a million cameras, and these guys are just walking the ball out like, oh, let's kick this extra point. Yeah, it's definitely a touchdown. It made me
They
think of
weren't
that-
walking it out; they were running it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me think of that interception against the Bills during that Rams game last year.
Yep.
Where it was like, man, you watch that over and over and over, and they didn't call it an interception, right? But somehow
No.
it turned
Yeah, it
into
ended
an
up being-
interception. And I was like, what? But that you can actually, the ball came out and another player came out of the pile with it. You don't just at least look at quick, you know, and it's like every score is reviewed, just like every
Especially
turnover.
since every touchdown is a reviewed touchdown.
Yeah,
Is a review.
like,
Yep.
whatever, man.
So I thought
Ryan's
it was-
got a good question, guys. I don't want to miss this.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, the Buffalo Bills have the fourth seed, and at this point, they would be playing the Colts right now if the playoffs started now. Ryan Hickman is asking us, if they started today, would you rather play Cincinnati, New England, Miami, or LA in the first round?
I'd rather play New England.
Let's
Beat
you want
them
to
again.
rank them who we want to who we don't want.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So it's New England, Miami, Bengals, Chargers. Those are the teams.
Cincinnati. Yep. Bengals, Patriots, Dolphins, Chargers.
So I would want to play from most want to least want in order. New England, Miami, LA, Cincinnati.
Mhm.
You guys agree? It's funny.
I would
because-
change San Diego or not San Diego, but Chargers and Bengals. I had the first two the same as you,
really.
but the last two would be
That
Scott and I
Chargers
were
offense
talking
is
about that.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Scott and I were talking about this. And they just got beat by the Texans bad. You
Mhm.
know, so
Right,
like
good point.
Herbert, you know, I believe he is going to be a solid quarterback. I'm also a little burnt about the fact that he got that Pro Bowl nod, and they're on the outside looking in, and we've only been there for a half a tick, like not even a full week, you know. And I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the league for a long time, but that shouldn't happen. Like, we didn't get destroyed by the Jaguars. You know what I mean? And they got destroyed. So Scott and I were talking about this before. The Bengals they're so explosive on offense, and they have so many playmakers, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, but their defense, Scott even looked it up. What was it, 15th or something?
Middle of the road defense. Yep.
So, I mean, you could have a shootout game, but you got Josh Allen and the Bills offense playing against the 15th ranked defense, and you got Joe Burrow playing against the number one defense.
We're
in the
still
league.
number one.
That's
Still
right.
number one.
I just like hearing it. So, yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. I think the unknown. I don't know. I think it could go either way for sure.
Yep.
Colts. The Colts were forgotten one. We didn't mention the Colts.
Colts to me would be the last team I want to play. They're just complete. They're complete all around. If
But
you
we do
stop
have
that
film.
run,
But
if
we
you
do
stop
have
that
film.
run, yeah. Wentz. Sorry, I'm with you, Swank. Wentz is not a good quarterback. So
He's
if
also got
he
COVID,
can,
I think, right now.
yeah, really.
Mhm.
If he can get away with just managing a game against the Buffalo Bills, then maybe the Colts will have a chance against us. I could see us beating them again, but I would not want to play them. It'd be Colts last for me, Cincinnati second to last. I would actually like to play Miami, to be honest with you. Miami's on a 7-game winning streak, yes, but take a look at the quarterbacks that they played. WGR today said it's almost like you opened up a 2010 quarterback packet of cards and said, "Oh, look at Taylor. Oh, look at Flacco. Oh, look at," you know what I mean? It's like the Miami Dolphins have won the last 7 games, but they've played all backup quarterbacks. They played a 3rd-string quarterback from Notre Dame against with the Saints game this past week. So bring on Miami. I think Waddle and Tua are looking good, but I think the Bills can handle those two. And hell,
Yeah.
we
Was,
haven't had a Miami Buffalo playoff game since the 90s, so I think that would be pretty sweet because Miami would have to travel to Buffalo in the snow.
And you know that in the divorce, Josh Allen got custody of the Miami Dolphins. So
I have a quick. This always comes up, right? So when you ask who you want to play in the playoffs, you always got somebody out there that would say William Sharp asks, I want to play the best. Why hide? So William Sharp, throw out who you want to play first if you could pick. But here's what I say about the playoffs. The playoffs are a different season. You don't want to play anybody in the playoffs. Look at the Carolina Panthers a couple of years ago when they went to the playoffs at 7-9. They won.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So we can
New York
who do you want to
Giants,
play? It's all our opinion, right? It's all different opinions. We want to play a team that you have the advantage on because then you can get to the next round. That's just how it is. All the teams made it. Different season. Play the team that you think you're going to do the best on. Keep rolling and then go. That's a great question. I know the Colts. William Sharp just said the Colts. We've played the Colts once, so we know we have film on them. So it all depends on. We won't play the Colts first if we win the division because I think the Colts will win their division. But yeah, you want to play everybody, but it's a different season. So it's a great question that always comes up, but you can't. You just gotta hope that you play somebody that you don't mind that we may have the advantage on, but no, you really don't have the advantage on a playoff team because they made it there for a reason.
I'd send reference back to last year. You know, when you got to that first playoff game. Like, I think everybody was just very excited to have a home playoff game, right? And we're watching it, and it's amazing. And it's almost like it was the year before, you know, with the Texans, where it's like Josh Allen, first time, it's an away game, at least we're here, you know. And they start out banging, and then it obviously went the way it went. They came back the next year, and now all of a sudden, you know, we're playing the Colts and the Ravens. But the Colts and the Ravens, even though they were tough football teams that year, they didn't look like the tough football team that they were in the regular season. They looked like some badass muggers. Like, those were some hard-fought, anxiety-driven, crazy games. And, you know, with the Ravens game, we were 1 pick six away from probably losing that game, you know. And with the Colts, we were 1 Hail Mary that was never going to get caught, but 1 Hail Mary away from possibly losing that game. And it's so much different in the postseason. Like you said, any team, any day. We say any given Sunday during the regular season. The playoffs, dude,
it's worse.
Any team.
You bring up the Colts from last year, and if you can rewind and go back, the Colts were the scariest team for me because when we played them, I was like, this is the worst team we could play. I don't want to play the Colts. But the Bills pulled it off and won it.
Not me, man.
Right?
Phillip Rivers.
Right, yeah, because you knew you had an advantage because Rivers doesn't
Colts
usually
first,
show up.
Right? We played the Colts and then we played the Ravens. So
Yeah.
yeah, because Phillip Rivers still never won a playoff game.
Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, I mean, you want to play the best to beat them, but you also the best teams are going to get to the AFC East Championship and then the Super Bowl. So playoffs in December are definitely, and in January are definitely a different breed. So just get there.
January, no.
Yeah, the playoffs will be in January. So different football, but great question. That's a good one that always comes up every year, who you want to play. And ultimately it doesn't matter who you got to play. The coaches have to come up with a game plan to beat a team that made it to the playoffs. So that's ultimately what it is. So great question. Thank you.
Ryan Hickman's in the comments kind of giving some light to what he's got going on for, let's see, if you want to win a Josh Allen signed jersey, authenticated $10 a spot, donations will go to Buffalo Spartan. So yeah, get at Ryan and get your $10 ticket. I myself have purchased 2. So I usually
it's Buffalo Autographs, right? Buffalo Autographs on Facebook or www.buffaloautographs.com. That's where you'll find Ryan Hickman and his sweet deals going on over there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on to Miami and Tennessee, right?
Yeah, buddy.
I got Miami. Scott, who you got?
I'm going Miami too. I think they're going to come up with the upset, and I think they're going to make a hell of a final week matchup against the Patriots. I think those two are going to fight for the final spot in the playoffs. I'd love to see it.
It'd be a great Week 18 game, wouldn't it?
I'll keep it interesting and say the Titans, even though I don't want either of these teams to really win, except for I would like the Dolphins to win so that they notch out the Patriots. So, but I'll say Titans. So maybe I can inch in on Jarrod.
Swank, you have another game up on your vision for us?
I got 2 more. I got one that's important, and then another one that I just think it would be funny. It's kind of comical. So I think we should pick the Chiefs-Bengals game because I think that's a good close one. And the other game is going to be the Browns and the Steelers because they're a bunch of losers.
Loser.
So Chiefs and Bengals. I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one.
Making it easy for me. Chiefs.
Swank, go ahead. Chiefs. Scott?
I'm going with a hopeful pick. I'm going with a pick that's going to show me not to worry about the Bengals. As much as I would like the Bengals to win and make us have a better chance at having that number 1 seed, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are going to calm my nerves and show me that the Bengals aren't as good as I think they might be.
I like that.
If that makes sense.
Paul Rossi says Titans. Ryan Hickman. I have Miami by 10. Debbie Emerton. Finns. Lady Bills. Miami. Mike Vogt. Chiefs. Cincinnati wins by 14 by Ryan Hickman. Bengals by John Johns. Browns over the Steelers. Paul Rossi. Let's do that right now. Browns versus Steelers. Swank, who you got?
This might shock everybody, man. And it goes against every fiber in my being. But I am going to stay the course. Fuck the Browns. Go Steelers. Dude,
man.
Were you buying it? Hook on
Yeah,
it?
I did.
I
actually wrote down
I thought I was going to gain a game on us. I thought I was going to gain a game on
way.
you there, Swank.
Is Baker even starting?
Who
4
knows?
INTs? If that was
I think
Josh
I
Allen,
think they're safer if he doesn't start, to be honest with you.
absolutely. They might as well be priming whatever. See what kind of backup talent they got because they should not re-sign that dude.
Are they going to bring someone in for a quarterback competition next year? And is that Keenum?
Is that
They got him a
anybody?
veteran this year to back him up, and Keenum now is going to turn into quarterback competition next year. Just you watch.
Keenum's going to do the same thing. He's like a low rent Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like he's going to do the same thing that he does everywhere, and they're going to go with him for a year while they're trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know, man. I'll go back to it a million times because Baker was the flavor of the week for like 3 years. People made so many excuses for him, and if Josh Allen threw 4 picks the way Baker did in an important game to try and keep them in the playoff race, Josh has won like the majority of his games and people still give him shit, but if he threw 4 picks like Baker, nobody would be making excuses for him. Nobody. And there's still people out there making excuses for Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
And I don't get it. He's mediocre. He's average. He wants to be a gunslinger, but he's not consistent enough to. He wants to walk around with this chip on his shoulder, but he's not backing it up. Like, you played 1 playoff game, bud. Like, I'm just
Ryan Hickman has Watson going to Cincinnati next year.
to Cincinnati.
I'm sorry, Cleveland.
So I heard that now they're in like talks for that. So that's got to be real good for Baker's self-esteem.
It's still a case of this, though. That's still a case of this. You're going to have to renegotiate your defensive contracts. You're going to have to renegotiate
They're going to have
Hunt,
to get rid of a ton
Chubb,
of people.
Landry. That's a lot of money coming there.
Listen,
Watson.
now
Remember
you're
what they
talking.
wanted for Watson?
Oh yeah. Now
3
you're talking,
first-round
though,
draft
man.
picks.
I mean, between if they got rid of Hunt and Landry and Mayfield, I'd almost be rooting for him again.
I used to be a Cleveland Browns
me
fan,
too.
only because they're built from the same brand. You know what I mean? That they're a low budget team that is a hardworking team, blue collar community. I used to all the time, but when they brought those schmucks in, it became a different story.
It just got worse and worse and worse. Baker. I wanted Baker in the beginning. Like, truth be told, him and Rosen. Those were my 2 guys that I wanted instead of Josh Allen. And then, the team made the pick, and I started watching highlights and reading up, and, man, I bought in hook, line, and sinker to Josh Allen, dude. The first time he left a Minnesota Viking, I was on board, man. He just sold me and never looked back. But
See, Swank, if we had this show a bunch of years ago before they drafted Josh Allen, I would have had you convinced that you would have been a Josh Allen fan.
Yeah.
With me being a quarterback guy, when it comes to the draft and when the Bills need a quarterback, I was one of those guys that was pulling for Josh Allen right off the bat. And so when they picked Mayfield right off the bat and Rosen gone, I was one of the most excited Bills fans you'd ever met because I knew it was a humbling situation. I knew it was a hard, tough battle for Josh Allen to get to where he was. And he was injured in college. And what he was doing before his injury and his heart that he was showing during these Wyoming games, you knew he was the guy you want the Buffalo Bills to have. So, like I said, if we had this going on before, we would have been on the Josh Allen train watching that draft pick, doing that draft show.
You would have made me an informed consumer because you know how I am with the draft, dude. You know, like,
Yep.
but yeah, absolutely. Like I bought into everything that made him into what he was after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what I do with the draft. It's like, okay, so we got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Let me see what they got. Let me see their highlight videos. Let me see a little bit where they were at, like all that stuff. I do my research backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Look at this year's draft, though. When we had our draft party, which we'll do again this year.
Yep.
When they picked up Russo, we were all like, "Oh, okay, yeah, Russo." I don't really know much about this kid.
But we were all about a defensive end.
Yes,
a lot of my mocks were saying
Because they got bashed him later. Yep.
And I was saying Jalen, but the whole time I forgot about Russo that was opted out the previous year. So I mean, we were still on track, guys. Come on, give ourselves credit.
So we're 100% about
Oh,
the
you
players.
can't be right all the time. Also, we're going on a 4-hour marathon there, so we were all getting a little buzzed.
Yeah, by the time we got our pick, we're like, oh yes, I'm excited.
I think it was like 11:54.
Oh yeah, go back to that draft party and watch like the last minute where Jarrod signs off. It's like, okay, guys, yep, okay, well, great draft party. See you later.
Gotta get one more bite of pizza and then I'm out. John Bengals. Paul Rossi. Browns over Steelers. Lady Bills. Bengals. Chiefs over Bengals. Paul Rossi. Lady Bills. Browns. W. Emerton. Cincy. Joey Hatch. Bengals. Eder. You gotta let us know how do you. I always mess it up.
It's Eater, dude. It's
Eater. I
Paul
always say
Rossi
Eder.
says your draft coverage was absolutely amazing. Thank you,
Thanks,
Paul.
Paul.
We'll see when
Paul
was
had
it,
some
May?
nice stuff to say about the Endless Mountain
April.
Mondays stream last night too, and I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much.
Nothing beats a Monday. I mean, after a Sunday victory, then you get to listen to you, Swank, jamming.
Yeah, for those that don't know what we're talking about, our 24/7 Buff Pandemonium admin, Swank over here, he is
Nice
in a
boy.
band. Yep. The Endless Mountain Derelicts, and he does an Endless Mountain Mondays. So we get live music, acoustic. Sometimes we get a drummer involved, but he plays all his music, all original, and we drink beer and we have a good old time. And what other site has a live band on Mondays? You tell me. I'll wait.
I mean, come on. I introduced my my new 6-string banjitar last night. Her name's Carol, and
Carol,
played some goofy tunes on that. She's named after my dad's mom. My Taylor acoustic is named Ethel, and that's after my mom's mom.
There you go.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah,
There you go. And I know you played with Butch Roll a couple months back, which is pretty sweet.
Sure
Nice
did.
experience.
that was a good time, man. That was a really good time.
Jealous.
Jared, do I have to pick still?
Yeah,
Steelers.
Swank has Steelers. Scott has Steelers.
Steelers is one of those teams that I'm always rooting for. One of our best friends, Eric Gordner, is a lifelong Steelers fan, and I'm always pulling for him. And we have a little conversation going back and forth. We have a group going back and forth. I'm always on the Steelers side, but Roethlisberger's getting old. It's about that time, but I kind of want the upset for sure.
I mean, after they got their ass handed to them on Sunday night, I mean, you'd like to think they'll come back. Ben needs a swan song, right? Like he needs to have one of those
Just for a
games.
moment.
Yeah. Like I don't wish ill on him. It's just like once Pappy gets too old to drive, you gotta take his keys.
Give them to me.
Yeah, take their independence away.
That's right. Put him in a home.
All right, guys. Well, our Buffalo Bills are going to be hosting the Atlanta Falcons this weekend, Sunday at 1:00. My favorite time to watch the game. Guys, this is going to be kind of a big one. You know, Scott, I know you mentioned earlier, if we win this and a couple teams lose, we might have that 99% chance of making the playoffs. And that's pretty much what it comes down to, is making the playoffs, making that new season. So
It's
let's
a whole
root on
different world.
let's root on our Buffalo Bills this weekend. Be loud, be proud. Before we head out, I want some closing thoughts. We're going to lead with you, Scott. Go, go, go.
All right, so we clinch. We win, the Ravens lose, or the Chargers and Raiders lose. So we can clinch a playoff berth then. Obviously, we win this week and the Patriots lose, we automatically have the AFC East. That's our spot, right? My final thought, Also is something added before that. Hit up Buffalo Autographs, www.buffaloautographs.com. I'm not joking when I tell you that their prices are uncomparable. I made a little Twitter post out and Facebook post out saying Santa Claus didn't forget your signed jersey because he knows you can get such a great deal at Buffalo Autographs.
Marketing.
There you go. And Ryan Hickman also has a Facebook page that he does razzes on. And like I said, he pays insurance. He does the things the right way. So these razzes are legit. It's not one of these shady sites that get kicked off every 3 months because they're not doing things the right way. Go look them up. Go hit them up. This is the time to get a little piece of Bills history, because it is history in the making that what the Bills are going to do these next bunch of years. So get your merch now. My final thought, guys, we still have 2 weeks to go. There's a lot of playoff implications. We put out a who to root for. Pay attention to that. You can, or you don't have to. But for those of you that like to know what situations we are put in, we will write it out for you. One game at a time. We're playing the last 2 games at home. Let's enjoy the ride. As we always say, the playoffs are a whole different entity. It's a clean slate. And the way things are now, right now, we have a home field game, the first playoff game. If we continue winning, we'll have the second or third spot, which will give us almost home field advantage. If the Chiefs lose eventually, then we'll have home field throughout. So let's cheer still. Week in, week out, there's still a lot to play for. There's still a lot to cheer for. And the Bills are riding hot right now. So you might as well be hot too. And join us every Sunday at 11:30 at Sunday Sessions with Scott, Swank, and Ryan. We've been on fire lately, calling a lot of stuff. We like to do the little actives and inactives, final thoughts, because there's been a lot of adjustments in the last 5 days. But hit us up, guys. We like to crack open our first beer of the day too. So
that's right.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man. Let's clinch. Hey, so I think that if we clinch this weekend, you Reed boys should shave your facial hair into Fu Manchus.
What's that? Just this?
That's just none of this.
I'll do it. I'll do it. If we
All right, you got 1 out of 5. We got 50%.
No, 100%, man. The bloodline has to be pure.
All right, we'll do that if you shave it all off.
Shave it all off. Like
No, it's got to be a group thing, guys. If we clinch a playoff this week, let's all do the Fu Man. Do it.
Okay. Do it.
Agreed?
I didn't want to involve myself.
Well, you have to, because you're redheaded stepchild as well. So we
all right. Strawberry blonde. So
okay.
All right.
Are we doing it?
If we clinch Fu Manchu, I'm keeping 5 o'clock shadow though.
Okay.
Right, yeah. I'll have this, but a little bit of shave. Okay. Good.
We encourage all of you to do the same. And if you're a female patron of the K-Gun Report, I expect Sharpie Fu Manchus and pictures to prove that you did it. I think we're gonna clinch, man. I think this is the weekend. It feels good to be a Bills fan in this era. It feels good to have a little bit of a hot streak against 2 tough defenses, back-to-back wins, going into, I won't say a gimme, but an easier opponent on paper. Brent Thomas is in. Ryan Hickman's in. Oh, man.
Paul guys, watch out for a post on Facebook. I'm actually going to write it out, the Fu Manchu Challenge.
You guys are going to make me pee my pants. I got a full bladder here.
Oh, yeah?
So, did you really guys hear about...
I want to recite the I Have a Dream speech. Let me just look it up online.
That's coming up.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for being great supporters. You can catch us every Tuesday night for the K-Gun Report right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the audio. Leave a little comment. We're going to have some giveaways coming up. And don't forget to check out Sunday Sessions every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Are we going to keep that going in the off season? Or are we just doing it for the season?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, more to come. You guys let us know. If you like Sunday Sessions, man, maybe we'll do a little bit of that. Maybe we'll do a little something different. But it's definitely coming back for another season next year, I'm going to guess.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So, yeah, thank you guys. Go Bills. Jarrod's going to be really fast because you got to pee.
Swank, maybe then we'll have a beer sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Sponsor. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Sponsor? A beer sponsor.
All right, listen, Scott alluded to this earlier. We have winnable games these last 2 games, which can be kind of, you don't want the Bills to get lazy, right? That's what ultimately what some people might be worried about. So don't expect them to be lazy. Maybe these last 2 games are going to be high scoring defense shutting out, and Allen just keep moving the ball with those threats that he has on that offensive team. So be loud, cheer on those Buffalo Bills if you're going to be going to.
Slow down. Could you just say all that again, only slower? I wasn't.
All right. As Scott alluded to earlier.
Just got to piss.
Just I'm good now. Good. When you're swimming in the lake and you're like, guys, guess what I'm doing? Anyway. Yes, Buffalo Bills are hosting those Atlanta Falcons this weekend at 1:00 on Sunday. Root on those Bills. They have a chance to win the clinch the playoff berth this weekend. That'd be great if they did. Drink responsibly, as we all do. We hope to see everybody next Tuesday to talk about this game. And Scott, you mentioned it earlier. We might have a Andre Reed mini helmet up for grabs if you just simply come onto the show Tuesday at 8:00 and leave a comment saying "Go Bills" or you.
Just like you do. Just like what you do already.
Listen, we'll stop there. Yeah, just like you're doing right now. So, guys, have a great week. Have a great New Year. Happy New Year. Happy holiday season. Finish 2021 off right, and we'll see you in 2022. Until then, go Bills.
Mafia, thanks. We hit 1.4K views the last week. Let's keep it up. And again, we got an Andre Reed mini helmet to give away next week. You come in, join, and leave a comment. You're in. Go Bills.
If you're in the Finger Lakes area, the Endless Mountain Derelicts are playing at Laurentide Brewing this Saturday, January 1st, 2022.
There you go, Laurentide.
Come hang out. Laurentide, you want to be a beer sponsor?
Laurentide has great beer. They have wonderful beer, and they can it now, too.
They do. Yo, real fast. 7 years ago, Bills!
This is a dangerous